Hello everybody, and welcome to EXMORTIS 2. Oh, text, my favorite. The hordes of EXMORTIS swept across the earth, a plague unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. In their final stand, a handful of mankind's last survivors stood their ground, defiant of their inevitable fate. And in these last moments as death took these brave souls, a stranger passing in the distance put his plans in motion. Where is your god now? Where's your papyrus? Oh, there's a lot. Not here. The sky has been stained blood red since the EXMORTIS started, systematically eradicating mankind from the face of the earth. The mountain range overshadows the terrain. It was once teeming of life, but now is as barren as the rest of this planet seems to be. I don't know, man, it just looks like Arizona, but okay. An old automobile is rather awkwardly parked next to the church. This barren wasteland stretches in most directions as far as the eye can see. Sometimes I wonder if there's anything left to fight for. Someone has written, "Where is your god now?" When the EXMORTIS emerged, faith in our religions quickly turned to spiritual resentment. This abandoned church was said to be EXMORTIS. It was meant to be the resistance rendezvous point after the final stand against the EXMORTIS. The cross used to be a symbol of hope. Now it is nothing but a reminder of humanity's foolishness to have held such pointless faith. The barren wasteland stretches in most directions as far as the eye can see. Sometimes I wonder if there's anything left to fight for. Light pours into the church through a hole in the roof. Although it... Wipe your fucking feet! Inconsiderate ass ghosts. Light pours into the church hole through the roof. Though I can see the crimson sky, which serves as a constant reminder of what has transpired. Holy shit! There may be nothing left in here, but I am definitely not alone. It isn't of the EXMORTIS, though. I would be dead by now if it was. The priest's pulpit stands at the head of the church. A large Bible sits atop, open to chapter Revelation. It's the end of days. How appropriate. The statue of Christ looks over the room, which was once filled with his faithful followers. What I see now is what's left of them. Whatever it is that just walked in, it entered this confessional booth, and it doesn't seem to want to let me into this particular booth. But let's humor this ghost. Oh God! No, not the place. The window looks... Oh wait, a statuette of the Christian Messiah hangs suspended on the wall in this booth. Not really an odd thing to see in a place of worship such as this. Hey, what do you want?
Mr. Hannay, please sit, for my time here is limited. I take it the battle didn't go as planned. An unfortunate inevitability, I'm afraid. Nevertheless, it has aided and allowed me the passage I required to make contact with you. The EXMORTIS know you're here, so I must be brief. All might seem lost to you in this dark hour, however, I am here to bring you hope when you have none. I have here with me a parchment which you will do well to read carefully. The knowledge within its pages will shed light on your path towards removing the scourge and allowing mortal man to begin rebuilding. I don't doubt that you are wondering if I am trustworthy or not.
I ain't got many
However,
choices.
At this point, neither you nor the remaining fragments of humanity have anything left to forfeit.
Exactly.
I'm afraid mankind's fate rests on your next course of action. For your sake, I hope you make the right choice.
Alright. Whatever it was in the next booth, it wasn't human. However, everything he spoke of made sense. I guess I really have no choice but to trust him, for now. The door seems to be working okay. If the EXMORTIS really do know I'm here, I should be making a quick exit before they arrive. I kinda want to see what else is in this church. All the windows in this church look like they were boarded up a long time ago. To keep something out, or to keep something in. Alright, there ain't really much else here. The bloody foot, okay, no cares. There used to be like a back button. Each pew was covered in a thick layer of dust. There hasn't been a living soul in here for a very long time. Can I be the only survivor of the battle? I mean, it could have been abandoned before. But what now? Oh, the door's working now. A pile of bound papers rest on the stool. This must be the parchment of the entity implored I examine. Yeah, not just the prophecy of the hand. Oh, goddammit, reading! One night I dreamed. A darkness, once dormant, patiently waiting, was now emerging from the shadows. A light glowing brighter from beyond a dark chasm, wrapping around a pillar stained with ancient symbols. Many millions of shrieks and screams engulfed me where I stood until I felt the burn rise up through the floor, and it too consumed me. My soul, ripped from my shell, was flattened and became a pathway. It became a link between the ancient world and my reality. Unspeakable monstrosities crossed over and began devouring every living thing. And then a fiend of unspeakable size and malevolence looked at me and smiled as he crossed into my world. He introduced himself as the ancient of the EXMORTIS, Valou. I could see myself, a tattered, broken man suddenly imbued with an insatiable power. I felt a sudden drive to destroy all that I knew and return it all to how it used to be before light and life. I saw myself become the hand of EXMORTIS. I saw what was, what is, and what will be. I then saw a strange dagger plunge deep into me. A man holding it. A mere mortal. And something else in the shadows. But then the darkness took me as I fell to my knees, and the pathway crumbled. My soul lost forever. I don't dare to dream again for fear of what other horrors await. Property of Lorchard Field Ranch. I know that place. It's not far from here. But with EXMORTIS fast approaching, how am I gonna get there? A vile stench hangs in the air that was trapped by this enclosed booth. If I can't see the entity, at least next time I'll know if I can smell them coming. Why do I leave? Oh. The tracks on the ground seem to indicate that this old rust bucket of a car still works. As old as it is, we will need a key to start. I wish I knew how to hotwire this thing. Oh fuck, those fast-moving clouds can only mean one thing. They're coming for me, and it's not for a chat. I don't have much time. Houses. I got 30 seconds. Hey. Alright, we did it. Okay, fuck you, giant cloud. I thought I was supposed to go to the house or something. I did not think that was a real-time event. Xavier's legacy. What the fuck do the X-Men have to do with this? This is the Lockyer Field Ranch. The document from the church led me to. What possible significance could this place have in the scheme of things? So I can check around. No ominous, fast-approaching clouds. It seems I managed to outrun the EXMORTIS. I'm sure that it won't take them long to find me again, though. Speaking of which... Okay, just making sure I'm recording. Sometimes I forget, and I hate to lose footage. The land was probably grass as far as the eye can see. But now, like everything else, it died under the red, cruel sky. The picture frame fell off the wall when it was slammed shut behind me. When the door was, not the picture. The devil said the doors lead to an adjacent hall. It might take on the place from outside screens. Interesting. appears to be a service hatch or some kind of air conditioning duct. Someone was there. The door on the other side of this corridor seems to be unlocked, but is being blocked from the other side by something. It's too dark to see anything in this shaft. I better not push forward without knowing where I'm going. Fair enough. God, okay. Fuck. That poor bastard had his eyes, arms, legs, and heart ripped from him. Only the EXMORTIS are capable of this kind of cruelty. Kinda looks like he's smiling. Making sure there's no symbols. A large amount of this man's blood pools beneath his lifeless hanging form. I curse under my breath at the EXMORTIS for their inhuman brutality. From the look of the blood spot on this chair, I assume that his poor soul was strung up before it was mutilated. I wondered to myself, what is more ghastly? The sight of this poor soul hanging here, or the crimson sky I can see through the window? Flashes of lightning and claps of thunder still shake the barren landscape seen through this curtain. The beam in the center of the room that the man hangs from doesn't even seem to be bowing slightly from the weight of his lifeless torso. It's a big piece of wood. I'm not surprised, honestly. This lamp used to serve a purpose, but is now a mere reminder of a life and a luxury that I once had. Nothing here. Ornaments. Just a dead guy. That's it. That's all that's here. Just a dead guy. Okay. Well, alright. Can I see him walk by again? Oh. Okay, it's still locked. Well, no, it's unlocked. Hey, it's back on the wall. It seems to be a very old portrait of a man and a small girl. Perhaps the previous occupant of this place. You're not going to question how it got back up there? This door is somewhat dissimilar to the one on my right, but it seems to be in working order. Oh, there will be a jump scare in here. An assortment of children's clothes, coats, and jumpers hang in this closet. As much as I need a fresh set of clothes that aren't covered in blood, I doubt anything here fits me. Padlock. Not even gonna try. On the top shelf here sits a small pile of knitted woolen blankets. I welcome the smell of mothballs over the scent of rotting flesh that seems to infect everything these days. No one has like pockets. Wait. Clothes hangers. Various metals and plastic coat hangers cling to the rod in the closet. A coat hanger saved my ass earlier, but I see no purpose in carrying one around with me now. You never know. These stairs lead back down to the lobby. Clearly there's some kind of entity in this house that doesn't agree with my presence here. However, the door just doesn't want to budge open. Nevertheless, not however. No, by the way, I'm the new owner. Fight me. Most of the roofing here seems to be rather water damaged. However, there is a section which appears to have been ripped off rather violently. Let's start with the closest. Damn! What the fuck happened here? Was like someone like standing on the bed and then they got shot and then they fell and bled out. What were the dynamics of this? The sheets on the bed are soaked with the blood of this poor woman. The naked female corpse on the bed here has a massive hole in her chest. The lampshades on both sides of the bed are stained with blood. Pictures of local structures are hanging on the wall. Finding bodies. Just making sure. Oh, wait. A small drawer here. All it contains is a Bible. I'd take it with me if I were a religious man. There's a slightly warning. More reading, no! It's another fucking book! Yes. Oh, God. God damn it. 28th of January. Well, actually, it's probably the woman's. Well, I got digging around in a dusty old cellar today and came across a whole heap of old leather-bound books with each and every page blank. So I thought to myself that I might as well put one of them to good use. I guess I got myself a new diary to use. It is quite remarkable how good the condition the books are in, considering how old they look. It continuously surprises me the amount of handy items I find in this place. I know this place has been under the care of my relatives for over 100 years. But you'd think that in that time, someone would have taken the time to go through all the old crap from the previous occupants of this place. In any case, the unpacking process is almost complete. It seems a little weird that my wife, kids, and I it's a guy, that my wife, kids, and I are living in old Uncle Charlie's ranch. It's been years since I set foot on this place before he passed on. Charlie and I never really got on so well, so it was certainly a surprise to find that he left this place to me in his will. I wonder what he meant by, only you can understand the ranch, and if you can't at first, you will learn to. Certainly seems to be like a last little cryptic jab at me from beyond the grave. Anna is settling okay. Anna is settling okay. I had to do a hell of a lot of talking to her around and moving away from the city. She wasn't going to go about a fight. But I think that she's finally happy that she broke away from a dead-end job and is kind of looking forward to a simpler life out here in the sticks. The kids are always keen for change, so it doesn't take much coercion to make them see this as a fresh new start. I think the thought of having horses, cows, and chickens to look after made them forget that they'll be roaming together for the first few weeks, until I can get the rooms at the end of the hall emptied out, clean and converted into top quality living quarters. Well, I've got a lot of work ahead of me in the next few months, but I feel good. This was a good choice. Welcome change. I just hope Anna relaxes into her new home. She's gonna die! 30th January. I got a fair amount of work done today. I finally finished the fencing around the southern field. But the oddest thing happened as I was finishing up. I had the strange compulsion to look back at the house, and I could have sworn that I saw someone watching me from behind the window. The room at the end of the halls. Okay, so this place was always fucking haunted, okay. Anna and the kids were out running some errands, so that's why I'm making note of this as being odd. I used to put it down as my eyes playing tricks on me. A full day of hard work under the hot sun can play tricks with your mind. Anna still seems a little offish about the move. She's still not 100% convinced that we are making the right move here. I told her to give it some time and that it will grow on her. Still, her stressful attitude is rubbing off on me. I snapped at Zoe today, which is very unlike me. She ran off to her room crying, and I went to apologize and explain that Daddy's a bit stressed with the move. She really didn't want my anger, and I felt bad about it. I felt bad about it for a while. She was all smiles after our little talk. Those 6-year-olds' minds is an enigma to me sometimes. Well, I mean, at least you're transparent with your kids. I mean, you and they all gonna die terribly, but hey, at least you're transparent. And now you're actually transparent because you're dead. 3rd of February. It's been a strange few days. We had an odd picture of a man and girl hanging up near the front door. I don't know who they were or what purpose Uncle Charlie had for such an odd portrait in the house lobby, but I felt it was time for something a little more modern. I took down the portrait and mounted the family photo we had taken this past Christmas. I threw that odd portrait in the cellar of the other odd old junk I need to sort through and turned in for the night. I got up in the morning to walk to the kitchen and found that old portrait hanging up in the exact same spot that I had removed it from, but no sign of the family photo I had replaced it with. I did a bit of searching around the place without any luck, so I asked Anna and the kids about it, and they claimed they knew nothing about it. But what really angered me was that when I went down in the cellar, I found the photo with its frame smashed up on the floor. I immediately brought it up to everyone's attention, but still no one admitted to the deed. I must admit that I flew off the handle a bit, and once again Zoe and Daniel both ran sobbing to their rooms again. Such disregard for my authority in my house would not be tolerated. I shouted at them as the little legs bolted up the stairs. Claire just sat in the living room glued to the damn idiot box TV. Kids. I can't tell if this is like ghost haunting or you're like genuinely pissed off. Could be both. I replaced the frame for the Christmas photo and remounted it on the wall in the lobby, once again discarding the old portrait in the cellar. But this time I locked the damn door and strung the key around my neck for safekeeping. It's the darndest thing. The next morning I got up to find the old Christmas. I found the old portrait back on the wall, and once again the Christmas photo was back in the cellar all smashed up. How is that possible? There are no extra keys cut for that door, and I know sure as hell there ain't a skeleton key for this place that I know of. I don't have any remaining old spare frames, so I guess that old portrait stays where it is for now. I swear sometimes I think that I'm losing my mind. 12th of February. The local sheriff stopped by today, asking questions about if we had seen anything unusual, and if we had seen any suspicious looking people out of character for the area. I told him that we hadn't. When I asked him what was wrong, he let us slip that a neighboring settlement of a whole bunch of people were found dead, ripped to shreds by some frenzied assailants, were his exact words. Oh, fuck. I moved my family out here to get away from that kind of shit. 12th of February. I found a clipping in the local paper about the murders of San Rami. 28. 28 people dead. Oh, that's virtually the whole town. And demons from hell? What the fuck? Thought I was smoking some good crack over there? Or the local God-fearing community has an overactive imagination. I mean, they're still dead. I finally got the energy in time to clear out the old desk and books from the room at the end of the hall. But I just couldn't get the door to budge open. The handle would turn, but no matter how hard I pushed at it, it just wouldn't work. I got tired of fighting a losing battle. So I put off the clean out of the room until later. I see. I never heard it referred to as a clean out. I did manage to get the other room cleaned out and kitted up with Claire's bed and furniture. So she'll be sleeping the night in her own room for the first time in the house tonight. Daniel and Zoe are still sharing the same bed, but hell, at 6 and 8 years old, it's not like there's gonna be enough room in the same mattress for them. And in another first in this house, Anna and I made love this morning. Good for you, man. I think she's finally coming around about the move. Although I do think that the murders in San Rami have us shaken a little. Too close to home, I think. And the thought of men, women, and children being mutilated like that chills me to the bone. People can be fucking animals sometimes. 15th of February. I woke up last night with a fright. Standing over Anna and I in our bedroom was Claire. She said that she couldn't sleep, that a man kept sitting at the end of her bed, looking out of the window. I told her that she's dreaming. Damn it, she's 11 years old and should be able to differentiate between fantasy and reality by now. I walked her back to bed, tucked her in and sent her back to sleep. I was still half asleep at the time, but I could have sworn that the stuck door at the end of the hallway was open just a crack on the way to Claire's room. It didn't occur to me to check on it again. All I wanted to do was go back to bed. 18th of February. More murders. Local news broadcasts mentioned that more people were mysteriously killed. Now a town further away had been hit and virtually wiped out, just as San Rami had. Ramini? What's going to happen? What's going on out in the world for shit like this to happen? Out here in all places. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. You might need to just go to an oil rig or something. I think that's your best bet. I didn't mention anything to Anna about the new lot of murders. There's no use in making her any jitterier than she already is. Besides, now that she's finally relaxed a little, we're finally getting back to some sort of semblance of normality back in our sex lives. If anything, she's become a little more energetic and enthusiastic than she has ever been when it comes to that. Claire is still having problems sleeping. She keeps talking up a man sitting on her bed and looking out to the back through a window. I mean, we have the choices between ghosts and evil cultists. Maybe the ghost is like Casper. Yeah. Anna and I are taking turns at babying her back to sleep each night. Anna is sure that with time she'll get used to her room and it won't be an issue for much longer. I certainly hope she's right. And I could do with an uninterrupted sleep for the first time in a while. Especially if the amount of work I am doing during the day on the ranch. I need as much sleep as I can get to save my energy for dealing with the damn horses. They seem very spooked as of late. A pattern of stubbornness I could do about it. 23rd of February. The sunset was amazing today. It had the most beautiful pinkish red sky that I've ever seen. Anna and I sat on the front doorstep and toasted a couple of glasses of Chardonnay. I don't drink. I'm not a drunkard. Simply stunning. 24th of February. The damn door just won't move. I've tried oiling it, removing the latching, chiseling the frame, and even kicking the fucking thing down. I'm getting over it very quickly. I'm this close to scaling the outside wall to break a window to climb in. Claire's taking a turn for the worse. Even though she's not complaining about the mysterious man in her bed, she's basically shut down. The most conversation that I can get out of her is an occasional grunt, and she spends most of the day sitting in front of the television when she's not in school. She always looks so tired and unwell. If this continues for much longer, I'm going to have to take her to see a doctor. New hunter, 500 dead, God! This is very concerning. These murders are not slowing up. If anything, they are increasing at an exponential rate. Police have no further information other than to say that it's possibly being some sort of satanic cult. It all seems rather vague to me. I know it's selfish of me, but the only positive thing to have come from this is that the spear of murder seems to be moving away from us. But I know that that doesn't make us safe. I cut the clipping out of the newspaper and put it the others I had from the original San Raimi killings. Ramini? I don't know why I have this morbid fascination of these recent events. Maybe because it's so close to home. Something else that I've noticed recently is that the daytime sky isn't as blue as it used to be. Almost purple in appearance at times. The sunsets of late are amazing though. But I'm starting to miss the familiar blue hue of the daytime sky. I'm assuming this game takes place in Australia because the maker, the developer, is Australian. It's a safe bet. 2nd of March. I spoke to Claire today and got a semi-coherent response from her. It's the first sustainable conversation that I've had with her in quite a while. Anna noticed that her bed seemed undisturbed last night. Noted. Oh no, yeah, it is noticed. Almost as if she didn't sleep in it. Anna convinced me to buy a gun. Oh no, no! I'm definitely not a gun person. What seems, maybe it is the States then. What seems odd considering I'm running a virtual farm here. But for the protection of my family against these marauding killers, it seems the only same thing to do. She's gonna kill you! I've heard numerous rumors about the killings that have been happening. People eviscerated and ripped limb from limb in their own house, out on the street, in backyards, wherever they happened to be when attacked. I even heard that the attack that left Palo Alto completely depopulated had the town literally painted in blood. Police sirens. I cannot even begin to imagine how this could happen. And I'm even more surprised at the apparent complete lack of federal government response. No one can go within 10 miles of New Hunter without getting turned away by local law enforcement. So there's definitely some kind of investigation happening. I woke up very early this morning because I thought I heard a noise come from the end of the hall. I picked up the gun. My gun would work, and cautiously stalked from room to room, checking on everyone. Daniel and Zoe were fast asleep, but imagine my surprise when I got to Claire's room. She wasn't asleep in her bed. In fact, she was wide awake, sitting on the corner of her bed, just looking out of the window to the back field. I approached and put my hand on her head, which was soaked with ice-cold sweat. She jumped, startled with my presence, and let out a shrill, high-pitched scream unlike anything I've ever heard before. All she could do was cower away from me against the wall and scream as loud as a banshee. The commotion woke everyone up, and soon I had Anna spinning to my side in this dazed and frightened state. It took about 15 minutes to snap Claire out of whatever episode she had been having and return her to her normal state. There was a startling moment where I could have sworn that I saw a reflection in the glass of her window of someone moving behind me in the shadows. There just isn't something right about that room. We hustled Claire into Daniel and Zoe's room where she spent the rest of the morning sleeping. Anna and I both decided that we should move Claire's belongings out of that room and let her sleep with her siblings indefinitely. It would be tight and stuffy for them, but Claire seemed more than happy to hear the news of the move. The news had just come in. Los Angeles and San Francisco are under siege from these marauding killers. I am as speechless as I write this. Everyone has been huddled around the TV downstairs for hours, watching report after report of the events. It has been reported that there are thousands dead in just a space of a few hours. Anna had been trying to call her family in LA with no success. Okay, so we are in the States. All lines of communication into the city seem to be down. I pray to God that they are okay. Information about their well-being is scarce, so all we have to go on at the moment is what we see on TV. What? Why is... I'm just noticing that a lot of certain letters are capitalized. Like San Francisco, I get it. V as a starter sentence. Oh, actually, no, it's only sentence starters. Okay, and names. Okay, I was just being a bit paranoid. The broadcasts are apparently under restrictions as to the content they should show due to the graphic nature of the images and the government stepping in, blocking certain footage. But the descriptions of some of these creatures is more than frightening. They are not human, we are being told. I went up to the local mall and bought a corkboard, which I have set up in Claire's old bedroom. I've started clipping articles and pinning them up there. I still remain morbidly fascinated by these events. More frightened than fascinated, I suppose, but to know thy enemy is the first step in defeating thy enemy. Well, that's just what I've been saying to Anna to justify my new hobby. Are you, like, going to invest in a hot air balloon or something in case you need to escape? No? Alright. LA is a graveyard, and San Francisco isn't much better off at the moment. Millions of lives lost. The president made his statements today, but it was all rhetoric about defending our way of life and making sure justice would be served. Just another way of saying that they are as scared and clueless on the course of action as we are. The military is engaging these creatures for most of the day. From reports I've seen, we aren't faring so well. The casualty rate is ridiculously high, but the military press conferences I've seen have been of a positive nature. Hopefully this isn't just a war propaganda machine talking. Anna received word that her brother Joe got out alive, but it doesn't look good for the rest of her family. Her parents were smack bang in the middle of LA, so even if they managed to stop the exodus of the city, the creatures would have been on them in no time. This is insane. Am I dreaming? We nuked them. I can't fucking believe it. We actually dropped a nuke on them, on our own soil, over residential land on the upper Pacific coast, after only one day of engaging the enemy. It's too early to know if it was effective, but just a realization of how completely worst case scenario that this is must be for this sort of action to be taken, well, it just boggles the mind. Anna's brother Joe is driving here. He's gonna stay with us for a while. I'm gonna set him up in Claire's old room. Hopefully he won't bother the same adverse effects that she bore from the strange feeling room. But at this stage, considering what is happening, that room is the least of our worries. Well, we've just been advised that the nuke has not stemmed the flow of violence. In fact, I think the words that were being used were completely ineffectual. You're being told that these things, which are being referred to as the EXMORTIS, have virtually wiped out most of the towns, villages, and cities up along the Pacific coast and are heading up north to Canada and back east to our other coast. We've been lucky in that these things started off in this area somewhere. People are saying that EXMORTIS numbers, that EXMORTIS numbers when they initially hit San Randy were minute compared to the millions they now were minute compared to the millions they now consist of. We were spared, but it won't be long before we see them coming back this way again. So are you gonna like fucking leave? Oh Lord, let's find a way of stopping these things before it comes to that. Joe arrived today. Yay, Joe! This is the fucking apocalypse. Joe arrived today. All he had was the clothes on his back and the car that he came in. The stories he had to tell us were just dreadful. Apparently he only just managed to escape the maelstrom. Apparently he got a frantic, garbled phone call from his father telling him to get out of the city immediately, with no questions asked. He did exactly that, but he never heard from his parents again. All he can say is that his father sounded more scared than he had ever heard. He heard his mother sobbing and praying in the background through the call. Joe must have choked the words through tears at least a dozen times. At least they were together in the end. Anna has taken this all remarkably well. Yay! She was shuffling around in the cellar this morning and emerged with an old Bible. She'd never really been a big religious nut, but when I saw her sneaking it into that bedside table drawer, she told me that having it close makes her feel better. I love her so much. 18th of March. Something has Joe scared more than he was when he arrived. He won't talk about what it is, but he's adamant that he doesn't want to sleep in Claire's old room again. I've noticed that he's sporting some pretty vicious bruises on his arms, face, and ribs, which weren't there yesterday. When I asked him about them, he'd either change subject or ignore the line of questioning, or just pretend that he didn't hear and go off on tangents. We relocated him to the living room as a temporary arrangement for now. 20th of March. It's official. Washington has fallen and Air Force One failed to make it off the tarmac before it was set upon. What hope is there left for us? Our military is all but wiped out. Everything we've thrown at them has failed, and now reports of Japan and China coming under siege. The mood here in the house is quite melancholy. It's almost like we've given up any hope of avoiding the apparently inevitable fate set before us. So they went up to Canada and China and Japan, but they just ignored Mexico. Alright. We've been told the current rate of advancement, and if EXMORTIS follow an assumed course sweeping across the east coast and back across west towards us here, then we only have another 3 weeks tops. Where the fuck are the space rockets? Where do these things come from? And how do they grow in such mammoth numbers in such a short time? But the $1 million what the fuck questions are, who are they, and why are they doing this? I'm afraid that we won't live long enough to find the answers. New York has fallen. Millions upon millions were dead. The front on the east coast seems to be following the expected pattern at the movement heading south down the coast while spinning the umbrella further west every day. I tried to continue collecting as many news articles as possible. Press productions are particularly hard to come by at the moment. But we still have a steady trickle of information coming in, even if nearly all avenues of delivering it are stemmed. TV is down to only a couple of local channels. Suffice to say, the word programming doesn't exist anymore. It's just a constant barrage of news and images of the rampages across the world. 14th of April. I still keep track of what's happening in other countries as much as possible, but as I've mentioned previously, information is getting much harder to come by as more and more countries are overrun. I've heard that we have earned some sort of a reprieve here. Apparently, a major majority of EXMORTIS have broken off and are headed south to swarm some of the Southern American countries. As much as this takes the pressure off of us here, there's still a small surge of creatures doubling back this way, probably to finish off the smaller communities. Okay, so they are going after, okay. We remain on high alert, staying within close proximity to each other at all times. Anna is the last remaining optimist among us. What can you be optimal about? What? Hey, at least you bought a gun so you can kill us all before we're ripped limb from limb. I would have lost my mind a few weeks ago if it wasn't for a positive influence. With every day that passes, they get closer, and I feel my sanity slipping just a little bit more. Electricity went out today. At least we had the forethought to stock up on batteries for a few essential items like flashlights. 23rd. Anna spent most of today clearing out a lot of junk from the cellar to try and make it into a makeshift bomb shelter. That ain't gonna help! A few creatures have been spotted in dashing over the open country only 50 miles from here. So we are now in harm's way. The EXMORTIS must have been spread pretty thin in our locality. Anna is of the opinion that they aren't in such great numbers around here. We might have a chance if we hole up in the cellar. I'm not so sure myself, but it is definitely a better option than just standing out in the open waiting to be slaughtered. True that. Most of the local properties have purchased portable CB radios and air horns to alert neighbors of incursions. People are getting jitterier by the day, it seems. There was a false alarm today at the Jackson house. As soon as we heard the air horn, we frantically rounded up the kids and headed into the cellar, only to hear Bob's sheepish apology radioed across the CB. Dog. It was just a dog. I haven't laughed that hard in ages. In fact, I haven't laughed at all in ages. Poor Bob Jackson's probably getting an earful from his wife. I'd hate to have been in his shoes today. The Colbys are dead. They didn't even have time to get to the shelter. After a few hours of waiting anxiously in our cellar after the alarm, we broke radio silence to check on everybody's welfare. The Colbys were the only ones that didn't answer. Joe, Bob, and I get up and drove off to the Colby house, and nothing could have prepared me for what I saw. Greg, Karen, and his kids were torn to shreds. Karen's torso was strung up from the tree out back, and her legs were just a mutilated mess at the foot of the stump. We found bits of Greg scattered around his back porch, and the kids. Oh God, the kids. The suffering they would have been subjected to. I'm dry-retching as I write this. No one deserves to go through that. Is this what I can expect? Will my own children, my own flesh and blood, end up the same way that Colby's did? What kind of fate is that? Seeing this level of inhumanity firsthand has affected me more than anyone will ever know. 23rd May. Since the Colbys, things have been pretty quiet. Provisions have started to get fairly scarce these last few days. I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to hold out for. 20th of May. As much as I hated doing it for so many reasons, Joe and I had to return to the Colby house to raid their supplies. We managed to scavenge enough provisions to keep us going for another few weeks at least. But beyond that, I'm unsure what we will do. 9th of June. Okay, you kind of lasted a little bit. It's been almost a month since the last alarm was sounded. But Joe claims to have heard some rather worrying news. This could be some hearsay, but he was told that this is purely the calm before the storm. Joe was told that further inland, a rather large horde of creatures have been slowly heading westwards. Over the past few nights, I've noticed a distant buildup of strange clouds just hanging on to the edge of the horizon. I feel that we don't have much time left. 13th of June. Nowhere to run and hide this time. The clouds on the eastern horizon have been getting larger since my last entry. The buildup of creatures around that direction has been massive. The distant sound of thunder now permanently hangs in the air. I don't think hiding in the cellar is going to work this time around. The EXMORTIS are in a final sweep, and I don't think they'll leave any stone unturned. No time left. No hope. I can't stop thinking about the Colby family. Their faces twisted in painful screams as they are ripped to shreds. To make matters worse, our food supplies have just run out. Joe has offered to make a mad overnight dash to the old town center and to raid some shops. I told him it was pointless. I'd to raid those clouds are approaching, if they will be on us before we can get back in time. Food means nothing if you're not able to enjoy it. But he went anyway. Joe, you fool. You'll never get back in time. Torn page. A massive hole in her chest. She wasn't torn apart. She wasn't dismembered. She's just there. Did we check this room? Was this room we checked? Okay. The blood-soaked sheet has been draped over the bodies of these dead children. If the EXMORTIS did this, we would have covered them with this sheet. I think you got the wrong line of thinking here. A Zippo lighter rests on the floor in front of the bed. Children. No matter how many times I bear witness to such inhumanities, I just can't get used to it. The EXMORTIS must have swept through here recently. The mattress looks like it's been in this room for years. It certainly serves as a rather pointless cushion for these poor souls in front of me. Would this mean I can go in that vent now? Did I go in this one? I did, yeah. He never mentioned the padlock. Check this guy again. So this guy was got by the EXMORTIS. I'm thinking this is our man. Right? I don't think I need to explain what happened here, do I? Oh, I hate this already. I hate this. Okay, maybe it wasn't such a smart idea.
I've tasted your soul. It is a beacon of light in a time of such darkness. Yours is just my spent eternity engineering. My name is Savior. Pay reverence to my word.
Alright. What resolution is this? 40 by 20? Okay, it's tight and extremely claustrophobic. Light streams into a cross place beyond the vent. Beyond its haze lies another room, but I can't seem to make anything out. Fascinating. When you say pay heed, does that include the whole get out thing? Oh, someone hiding in the attic. The toilet is spattered with a small amount of blood. There's no point in opening the lid. What can I expect to find there other than the obvious? Well, I want to open it anyway. I'm surprised the water still works. It seems the water supply to this place is still functional. The tap seems to be working just fine. The glow of the occasional flash of lightning in the sky lights up the room. Whatever. Oh no. It's fair amount of. Okay, let's see it. Oh. The bath is stained with blood of a recent kill. Whoever's blood this is no longer in the tub. Okay. The blood of the little girl stains the wall and floor here. She didn't even see it coming. I can still feel her melancholy presence in this room. The apparition that I just saw look out the window. What could she have been looking at? All I see is the scorched earth in the distant horizon. I'm actually really glad I read the diary journal before any of this. Kind of like helps the atmosphere. It's a cork board hanging on the wall here. It's covered in newspaper clippings of recent events. Probably right up to the press stops running at least. Okay. Someone has scrawled no hope in what looks like blood. Mass murder. 500 killed at township of New Hunter Burns. No. Major city is under siege. Infantry mobilized. Martial law declared. EXMORTIS Judgment Day. EXMORTIS. The mere mention of the name of these self-appointed executioners of humanity is enough to send a shiver down anyone's spine. There isn't a soul amongst us who has the answer to this plague of genocide. Our police and army have crumbled and was put to death like lambs to the slaughter. Our families and loved ones have all been butchered. Our land, trees, and animals will wilt and die under this new red sky, except for the mushrooms. They're chilling. Oh, this is mushroom heaven. We're all familiar with the images of our major cities in ruins, gutted by the hordes of demons and supernatural entities. Whilst other countries looked on in shock and horror, get confident in their own isolation from this cruel fate. But now reports of similar extinctions in China, Russia, and many European countries. This isn't the destruction of America. This is the extinction of mankind. This is Judgment Day. Interesting. So all of these have a thing? Okay. Mass murder. Ghastly accounts of the murders of 28 people in San Remi last night came flooding in to local authorities, as it was revealed that the attackers were of unknown identity or origin. Little is known at this point in time. However, the gruesome nature of the murders have led police to make no official statement. Eric Barber, 23, was a witness in one of these rumored eviscerations at San Remi. It was a damn demon from hell that just jumped out of the shadows and tore into that poor man. He was gutted like a fish, but he made out alive. San Remi was a township of just 30 people. However, after last night's events, it will surely become a ghost town. 500 killed as township of New Hunter burns. Surrounding rural communities of New Hunter are in shock today as it was revealed that an estimated 500 people were gruesomely killed by the marauding assailants. Local enforcement authorities are adamant that the recent state of murders is not on the increase, and that the investigation into similar killings in surrounding towns is making valuable ground on a daily basis. Police have issued a statement claiming that all evidence points to a satanic cult. Eyewitness accounts have led police to further claim that men disguised in extremely lifelike Halloween costumes have been perpetuating these insidious murders. From all further accounts, there appears to not be gender or race specific, and there is no clear pattern or common method of execution. At this point, local authorities are being light-tipped about the specific details of these murders. The families of the victims will be notified upon the seemingly mammoth job of identifying the bodies, which were left strewn about the streets and houses of New Hunter. Residents in surrounding townships are asked to stay indoors after dark and urged to not panic. There's a lot of shit to read here. Vatican! 11 p.m. Sunday. The words the Catholic and Christian communities of the world have never deemed possible echoed over the airways of every remaining radio station. Vatican City is in ruins. The Pope and his clergy were all dead. The last bastion of hope and religious faith that mankind had held up until that point drifted away in the clouds of the storm the EXMORTIS rode in on. In the days leading up to the devastation, the familiar images of the sky turning red as a precursor to the scourge's arrival became obvious. Rome and the Vatican prepared themselves as best they could. Millions of Rome's locals flocked to the Venetian gates in the hopes that the holiest landmark on earth would be the safest place from what they believed were the minions of Satan. At about 9 p.m. Sunday, the clouds fell upon Rome, and it was only a matter of time before many millions of people were left slaughtered or trampled in the ensuing chaos. Even so, after news of the Vatican falling, reports worldwide of mass suicides in the remaining untouched areas of Europe, Eurasia, and Africa began flooding in. Mass denunciation of religions has begun. A world once so dominated by people of unwavering faith in their deities is now virtually stripped of any religion. Churches and other places of worship have been attacked and burned to the ground in London, Paris, Sydney, and Hong Kong. People caught praying are set upon by angry mobs intent on displaying their anger at being cheated for so long. The world has become a darker place. Now that something horrible revelation that we are in end times. First nuke. Hey, at least you didn't make me read this time. Assailants named. Police sources overnight have revealed the identity of the group responsible for mass murders Oh, it's just the EXMORTIS thing. Something called some federal government. What's this? Scientists claims that they are unsure as to why our sky started turning red. It is no coincidence that with the staining of the sky commenced the emergence of the EXMORTIS threat, but the scientific community can find no explanation for this strange phenomenon. We are currently working on the theory that the strange cloud formations which followed the main front of the EXMORTIS assault is somehow linked to the reddening of our skies. The evidence that supports this theory is that the red sky phenomenon seems more concentrated around the EXMORTIS front and its wake. Consolidated Forces. Today, the new head of the United Nations, Cathra Thragitha, announced that the consolidation of all remaining armies of the world in a last-ditch attempt to halt the advancing EXMORTIS scourge. We believe that the last chance of survival humanity has is to put aside our petty differences and work together to combat the greatest threat we as a race have ever faced. Evidence communicated from the remaining splinters of the scientific community in the U.S. indicates that the creatures of the EXMORTIS are not indestructible. Physical harm can be brought upon these creatures to incapacitate them. The strength of the EXMORTIS seems to come from insurmountable and seemingly endless numbers. We remain confident that a concise and concentrated strike against the main front of the EXMORTIS assault will halt their advance and allow us to push them back to the Asian nations. Let's see how that went. The United Nations Consolidated World Army Offensive against the main front of the EXMORTIS was declared a failure in the early hours of the morning. The EXMORTIS push into Western Europe was halted for all of 6 hours as the UN forces launched the first of their planned Take the Battle to Them assaults in the attempts to push back the marauding demons back to Asia. It is estimated that a staggering 40% of the world army was lost in the initial hours of the attack. However, some advances were made on pushing the front back over the Italian border. I see. So they are possible. The UN's controversial to use their armament of nuclear-tipped ICBMs appeared to pay off at 3:30 a.m. when numerous mushroom clouds were spotted on the horizon over the Swiss Alps. French and Russian biodivisions were immediately deployed to continue the pushback. However, the first signs of failure came at 5:45 a.m. when contact with the ARD, Advanced Recon Divisions, indicated 100% casualties of the biodivisions. It took an hour before the front returned to the earlier eastern French line, and a final order for retreat was given. A staggering overall loss of an estimated 89% of the world army forces is expected to be announced to the media once the United Nations Council assembles for the emergency debriefing later today. It was the bloodiest battle in the history of mankind. It can also be considered the fastest and the worst loss ever endured. I see. Inhuman. Resolution. I think we already know that they're inhuman. We don't need it. So we got the key. And we got the very important. Did I check this one? Oh, yeah. Oh, I can close it. Some kind of entity doesn't agree with my presence here. Okay, well. There was a locked door somewhere, right? Not this one. Oh, wait. So we got a key. This is unlocked. What would this code be? There's nothing about this. What about you? Very old portrait of a man and small girl, perhaps a previous occupant. We need to think. Hello, dead children. We don't have nothing about We don't have nothing to help with the code. What am I to use the key? Booyah. There's an assortment of tools in this case. There's a screwdriver in here. Hey! Oh god. The body of a man slumped over the table. From here, looks like a self-inflicted gun wound did the damage. A bloody gun on the table lies next to his corpse. It appears to be the weapon he used to take his own life. The gun is loaded with 5 bullets. Just a kitchen sink. There's nothing special from the looks of it. Leads outside to the back of this place. Things probably won't be any safer outside than it is in here. Yeah, probably. The overhead lights used to be electrical, but I guess it has since been converted to house small candles since the grid went out, I presume. The rest of this place looks as torn up as the front does. One hell of a horde of creatures must have torn this place up in a frenzy. Let's see. The hot water tank and the gas cylinder sit in the far end of the cellar. Unfortunately, warm showers out the question, as both units are no longer functional. A large polymer bottle on the ground here is empty, but from the smell of it, it was probably once filled with petroleum. A battery-powered CB radio sits on a table against a wall. Oh. Oh. Sounds like he's having a fun time. Ah, I can't go backwards. Yes. Interesting. Oh. A stack of books. Old. I see. Old books. Cardboard box. Electronics. Nothing here good. Pipes of all sizes. Oh, wait. Xavier. Vistis Hoistas EXMORTIS. Xavier Rehem, circa 1902. So more people were investigating this EXMORTIS. My dear reader, many years have passed since I cast my thoughts to the memories of the demons. But my story is one of... How many pages? Fuck! Oh, gotta do an alternate one. Okay. Well, let's read it, I guess. Dear reader, many years have passed since I cast my thoughts to the memories of the demons, for my story is one of captive torment. Years of tortured labor to stay one step ahead of constant threat to lunacy. Indeed, I pain to recall the torment endured for those years around the end of my young daughter Gwen's life, for she was lost to my blade. It pains me deeply, however, as much as my hand was forced by them. My captives, yes, the demons of that haunted my house, the possession of my poor daughter. They turned her into a puppet, held her soul in ransom in return for the translations of the text titled The Book of EXMORTIS. Of course I did as they wanted. However, I fear that such work would come with dire consequences. If not for I, then certainly for mankind. When they returned her to me for a mere minute only to take her away from me again, I realized that Gwen was gone and never to return. I suppose that in a way I wasn't killing my daughter. I was killing the demons that took hold of her. I digress. My purpose for penning this text is not to alleviate the pained memories I carry with me, nor is it to gain unwarranted sympathy for my eternal plight. I ultimately utilize this medium to serve a dire warning for whatever years of humanity we as a species have left on this earth. An unspeakable evil resides in the hills, not half a day's stride from my current abode here in Lockjaw Fields. I have witnessed firsthand the cruelty of the entities I have come to know as the EXMORTIS. I can only further elaborate on the threat these beings pose upon humanity once I have summarized the nature of the beast. To understand the history of one's enemies to be one step closer to salvation. The following is a summation of the Book of EXMORTIS. The Ancient Dominion War. Yeah. Valu. We all know this. The Soul Bearers. Over the millions of years following Valu's removal, Earth took on a different look. The ground turned green, and now lush vegetation, with the sky no longer stained with the blood of the Ancient Dominion War. Strange beasts appeared on the lands and in the oceans, but the most significant of these creatures to emerge was man. For it seemed that these fragile beings possessed a gift that would grant them with great power over the roaming, malevolent demons and spirits of the ancient world. Man was born of a soul. Over many thousands of years, man destroyed the remaining evil Earth realm sentients and entities. The scores of entities that had survived the Earth's metamorphosis have now been destroyed forever. But unbeknownst to man, the powerful EXMORTIS lay dormant, surviving through the strength in numbers and reveling in the wisdom of their ancient leader, Lord Valu, the Hand of Death. The blood of 5 innocent soul bearers, marked with the symbols of the ancient Valu, has the power to bridge the gap between the ethereal plane of existence and the earth dominated by man and beast today. The influenced man shall become the hand, his soul the pathway, and the source of strength of the demonic horde. The Book of EXMORTIS, in its original Arminic form, went on to detail the further ritualistic orientation of the link between our world and the spiritual plane described quite frequently in the ancient land. I dare not put pen to paper again for the reproduction of this incantation with the hand for fear of my tainted soul. Following the tragedy that was my daughter Gwen, I felt compelled to continue the work looking for an answer to this evil. I spent day after day translating more and more ancient occult texts pertaining to the dark arts which surrounds these entities. For years I worked through each book of the archaic collection until I came across a precious find. Imagine my surprise when I located a text which could lead to the downfall of the dominion of EXMORTIS. It was a text that I dare not translate whilst in the captivity of the isolated abode for fear of exposing to them my knowledge of the script titled Vitis Adversus, translated the Ancient Adversary. 1 second, drink break. Oh, I don't remember that. Back when I was playing Viens, I would take drinks. Yay. Over time, I worked to shake their attention. When finally I broke free, I fled the wilderness and returned to civilization, eventually relocating here to a beautiful Lockjaw Fields homestead. It was here that I began the work I was forced to complete for the demonic EXMORTIS. I had managed to escape the one text that could aid in my pursuit to right the wrong I had been an integral part of. Within the pages of the Vitis Adversarius, I had discovered a great many things. Most important of all was that the source of the demon's power is also their weakness. The man who will become the hand, his soul is the path between the spirit world and our own. Sever the hand, and the link is broken. From Vestis Advertis. The door was unlocked from blood of 5 protected by fiends once dead and now alive, circled by blood from the dark ancient rite. The mortal man makes the ultimate sacrifice. A weapon of fire takes a 5th for its own, creating a path to to where spirits roam. His soul will pass through the ethereal gates. Beyond it lies his God-given fate. A dagger of faith to sever the hand, mortally pierced by soul-buried man. The light of the path cut off from the land, reducing the scourge to fire, ash, and sand. For many years I have studied the past from every possible angle. I have noted that the blood of fire is once again prominent in creating the link between our physical world and the spirit realm. But what of this mortal man's ultimate sacrifice? What of this dagger that the passage speaks of? And who is the man the script references? I cannot answer these questions, but I am certain all will become clear when the time is right. All I can do is make available the tools required for our Savior to rid the land of the plague when it inevitably comes to be. I know now that this is my purpose to what little years of life I have remaining. Now, more than ever, I believe that within our faith we will find the answer. The circle of life, portal to the spirit realm by an act of ultimate sacrifice involving the use of the weapon of fire. I'm taking a screenshot of it this time. Okay, I guess not then. I was going to, but it won't let me. Checking my streaming, just making sure. Damn. Okay, we got space. Interesting. Why can't I ever take the books with me? Well, there certainly are enough dead people here. Oh no. Oh shit, the EXMORTIS are getting closer. I don't have much time. I better get back in the house and figure out where to go from there quickly. Ah, the plank popped up against the door. I see. So... I guess I'm good now. Oh, still don't want to budge. Alright. I got the screwdriver, I got this. Five bullets! I need 5. Oh no, I'm gonna have to kill some people. Shame. Okay. What? Oh, wait. Is this? Let's go in. Let's go in the father. But what do I do from here? I don't want to go back to the walkthrough because oh, they're getting even closer. Okay, well. There's gotta be something I'm missing then. There's a suspicious looking Bible. But now I can look at it. With this dagger, sever the link and the demon horde will fall. Within your faith lies the answer. I see. Shake him!
Quickly. We don't have much time. We don't have much time.
Sacrifice, written blood wall. What does the sacrifice have to make? I don't have to figure it out. Open a fire. It's gonna take 4 innocent lives. Oh fuck. I take my own life. It's gonna open a portal. That's the ultimate sacrifice. I am the 5th innocent. For the 12 humans left. Come on, hand. Dominion. This is amazing. never had I imagined a world such as this existed. There's just empty space as far as the eye can see. I can imagine spending eternity here. Oh. It's another strange beacon drifting in the distance. Those buoys need to be powered up and linked together before I can move onwards. There we fucking go. That took way too long. I swear to God, if there's a third, there's a... Alright. Oh, I gotta do this again. Let's go! That is an ugly bitch. Looks kinda like me, but what? No! These puzzles. Oh, I'm back in the tunnel. The dead corpse is stuffed up against the wall. Empty shell casings vest in his lap. Must have been one hell of a last stand. What way to go? What a trip. I don't know where I am, but I've somehow regained my physical form. The hair on my neck is standing on end. This place feels inherently. The tunnel behind me appears to have recently fallen victim to a cave-in. My only way out of here is through this archway. Shank him! Shank him! Stick it in his fucking spine! Oh my god. Did it lead to gas so on? Tunnels seem to stretch on forever, but I have enough left to fear. I finished what I came here to do. Now I venture onwards into the unknown. Another tunnel stretches off to the darkness ahead. I have no idea where I am, and no known way of telling how long these tunnel systems go on. A set of cement rock leads upwards toward the crest. I feel a very faint breeze against my skin. I must be on the right path to getting out of wherever here is. A faint trace of light creeps over the crest here. I think I'm getting close to getting out of here finally. I found the entrance, but a familiar figure blocks the doorway. It suddenly occurs to me this is the entity I spoke to in the church. I've got so many questions for him.
Oh, Mr. Hannay. How good it is to see you again. Congratulations are definitely in order. You have accomplished something the combined forces of humanity could not. I must admit, when we last met in the church, I was unsure if you were the right person for the job. However, it seems my faith in you wasn't misplaced after all.
Thank you.
Your actions have paved the way
it's not
for
red
a
outside.
prosperous new age. Which reminds me, I must also remember to thank Xavier for his role in this. How is he, anyway?
I don't know.
Still about losing his little whore of a daughter?
It's kind of a corpse. A skeleton.
You soul bearers. So complicated. Yet, once again I find myself surprised in the ease at which your kind can be manipulated. Much easier than my former brethren within the EXMORTIS.
What?
Why the look of surprise? Surely you must have had some suspicions that I, Lord Blay, was the one who sent you upon this
I thought it was Valu.
Calm now, child. My fellow EXMORTIS deposed me as their leader many eons ago. Wouldn't it be rather unwise to put myself in a position for the same inevitable treachery to take place? Only
Fine.
now do you realize I needed you to remove my enemies and clear the path for my return to rule over a world which has always been rightfully mine. And it certainly seems that you came through for me with flying colors.
Better than certain death.
Mr. Hannay, for your role in this, I commend you. For your part in this, I applaud you. And for your help in this, I grant you a gift.
Just killing me?
Death.
Oh, thanks, man. You know, that's what I always wanted for Christmas. So did we stop the apocalypse, or did we just, like, change the rules? This was a good one. I feel it was a bit more puzzling than the last one, but that's what you gotta do. I mean, if it was the same, it would have been boring. Created with Adobe Photoshop. Yay! I liked it. I feel the first one had a bit more personality to it, but that is just me. Wow, special thanks to Sarah. Okay. And thanks to that person too. Amazing. Jay, is that you? Special thanks to Newgrounds. Yay. What? Oh yeah, because the site don't exist anymore. Well, that was fun. I may have enjoyed it a little bit less than the first one, but the action sequences and the beginning, that was very fun. I liked it. Let me just reload the page here. I still have internet. Okay, good. That was EXMORTIS 2. Fun time all around. I'm actually, right after this, I'm going to record EXMORTIS 3 after having a drink. It's going to be real nice. Anyway, though, I'll see you guys next time, and bye.